Thank you for interviewing today. So we've got 5 questions,
Okay.
and we'll start off. Your team practices English, New York, and Saudi law. How do you ensure seamless collaboration and consistency when advising clients on matters that intersect these different legal systems?
We work very closely together. We're lucky in that we don't just work on different areas of law, which we do. A lot of the disputes that we handle are multidisciplinary, but we work very closely across offices. So I don't think any of my matters are staffed only in one office. We are just fully integrated, and we're able to bring all those different legal systems expertise to bear in one dispute. And through that, you learn from your colleagues. So the more you do together, the more you get to learn about what those different systems look like, and it just becomes easier to handle later disputes that have those different types of laws that come into play.
Definitely. Vision 2030 is transforming Saudi Arabia's legal and business landscape. Beyond the increased demand for arbitration, how do you see the vision impacting the nature of disputes arising in the kingdom?
Well, a key aspect, obviously, of Vision 2030 is the huge projects and that various folks are working on, not just the kingdom. And so with big projects, some people think come big disputes, the potential for big disputes. But I hope it will not result in big disputes. Everybody talks about giga projects, and what I say is giga projects don't necessarily need to result in giga disputes. In fact, I think we need to scale disputes down. We need to be more innovative in the way we handle dispute resolution, especially in the context of really big projects where, a contractor or the owner or any number of folks who are involved in that project just have too much to risk for failure. So we need to scale down disputes, be better at dispute prevention, alternative ways to handle disputes, look around corners better, and when we have disputes, just try and deal with them as efficiently as possible. So I think there's going to be a lot of innovation in dispute resolution.
The SAC is a relatively new institution. How do you assess its current strengths and weaknesses, and what specific improvements could be made to enhance its credibility and attract more international cases?
I think on the credibility piece, to start with that just comes with time. So the more experience it gets, the more credibility it will build, assuming that it handles cases, as I'm sure it will, efficiently and effectively. It's already done quite a few things that are innovative. The rules allow for specific things like joinder, etc., that are going to help in handling the types of construction disputes in particular that we foresee over the next few years in Saudi Arabia.
Wonderful. You've successfully settled numerous arbitrations without formal proceedings. In your opinion, how important are informal dispute resolution mechanisms, for example, mediation and conciliation in Saudi Arabia?
I think they're super important. I think they're always important to try and resolve disputes without the formal dispute resolution mechanism. We always tell ourselves, and we were talking about it this morning on a panel, our clients are not in the business of dispute resolution. They're in, the business of building projects, for example. So it's a side show for them. It's a distraction. And things like, dispute resolution mechanisms like mediation can be used to more effectively handle disputes. So I think you have to look at the dispute resolution approaches to dispute resolution holistically. You can't just think, okay, there's an arbitration clause, I'm going to go to arbitration, or there's a litigation clause, I'm going to go to litigation, or there is no clause, and so, what's the nearest court? You have to think creatively and holistically about your approaches to dispute resolution, and ideally you're able to resolve disputes amicably. That's always the goal.
And finally, drawing on your experience in numerous complex multi-jurisdiction disputes, what are some underappreciated legal or business considerations that international companies often overlook when operating in Saudi Arabia, which can later lead to disputes?
I think not understanding the unique aspects of the context, the culture in Saudi Arabia, Every place requires and has its own nuances, and you have to take a nuanced approach to doing business in any jurisdiction. We're lucky that we have an office here with, and it's a growing office over the last year and a half. We have over a dozen lawyers that we can rely on and seek advice from when we're handling disputes that touch on the region, and I think that's important. You need to understand the context of the place in which you're doing business.
Perfect, wonderful. Thank you very much.